Blessings and love. It is always a great day here at Refuge and Fortress. My name is Emmanuel O.
And I'm Lonnie O.
And this is
Before
Yes,
Yes.
your practical pathway to having a kingdom fulfilled relationship.
Yes. Today, we are talking about long distance relationship.
Yes, long distance
Everything
relationship.
long distance relationship.
It's no joke.
So now, but today's topic is going to be focused on 5 things or 5 reasons you shouldn't go into a long distance relationship.
Yeah. Don't do long distance relationship
If you
dot, right? Coming up now.
Okay, so what is long distance relationship? So it's basically 2 individuals not in the same vicinity, right? Maybe miles and miles away from each other. Maybe somebody's in a different country and somebody's in Nigeria, somebody's in America, or even in the same country, somebody's in California and somebody's in New York. So pretty much you're not in the same state, you're not in the same place physically, right? That is long distance relationship. Now there's different ways long distance relationship can happen as well. You could start.
Another form of long distance relationship is you could be in the same state, you could be in the same country, the same city, but circumstances prevent you from physically being together.
Like what?
Maybe somebody's in jail or in prison. You get it?
That can be long distance relationship.
Just saying.
Hey man, I guess.
As you were.
Right. So as I was saying, I just took a slap field. As I was saying, there are different ways long distance relationship can come into place, right? You either meet somebody maybe online, and the person is in a different state or different country, and you guys start a relationship, you start dating, or you both of you physically left where you live and went somewhere like we did,
Okay.
and met each other there but have to go back home. So you live apart, but you met somewhere together.
Yeah, like a
right?
conference, a convention, but
right?
you don't live together.
But you don't live together.
You're long distance.
There's different ways. Oh, yeah, the same thing. Yeah, there's different ways. Okay, but we're talking about reasons why you shouldn't be in long distance relationships. So
this is you've got to be.
the things that
You've got to be made for long distance
Yes.
relationship. Long distance relationship is not for everyone.
it's
You understand?
no, because it requires you to actually put in a lot more effort into your
So
relationship.
let's just jump right into it.
Right.
Don't do long distance relationship. Number 1.
If you don't trust yourself or you don't trust your significant other. Don't even bother. Don't even step into it. If you don't trust yourself, then you're wasting each other's time. If you don't trust your significant other, then you're wasting, because number 1 foundation, even without long distance, number 1 foundation of a relationship, or one of the most important things in a relationship, is trust.
Yes.
So it's already a thing when you're physically with each other. Talk less of being in a long distance relationship where you don't see each other on a daily basis. You don't know what's going on in that person's life and in your life. You just know what you're telling each other. So you have to go off of that, right? And it's very, very possible to build trust on that.
Yeah.
But if you don't trust each other or you don't trust yourself, don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't do it. And number 2, don't do long distance relationship if you are insecure or you have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because, and you should probably watch some of the insecurity video we did last month, where we talked about how insecurity is killing your relationship, what causes insecurity and stuff like that. Listen, long distance relationship is like everything you do in a regular relationship, you have to do it times 10 in a long distance relationship, because you got to make up for that distance.
Yeah.
So we got to communicate more, we got to trust each other more, we got to prove ourselves even more, because I can see you, and I can make judgments by what I see.
Right.
But when I can't see you and all I do is hear you,
right.
I have to take your word for it. And so, number 1, if you can't build trust,
Forget about it.
Forget about it. But number two is if you have low self-esteem, or you're insecure, about a thing or two, it's going to be difficult when you don't have someone physically there with you, giving you that constant reassurance that you may need. And that is the whole thing about insecurity, right?
Right, because insecurity starts with the mind.
Absolutely.
And when you don't physically see what's happening, you start to create things in your mind through that insecurity, which can end up destroying that relationship.
Right, and it's leaning towards more on the side of trust, where it's like you have to be able to develop that trust for whoever you're with. But then anybody needs to work on trust, but not everybody is insecure, right? Some people are really suffering from insecurity. And so
it's more about them. Really, than the other person.
Than it is about
but
the
they
other
project those feelings onto
It's more about
their
them than it is about the other person. It's more about them than it is about the relationship itself. So they project these feelings into that relationship, and you just got to be careful. Not saying relationship is not for you. We're just saying until you kind of work on that insecurity issue, just long distance relationship especially,
just stay away from it. Absolutely. Okay, so don't go into long distance relationship number 3 if you are impatient. The one thing you do in a long distance relationship is you patiently wait, because that person has a life somewhere else, you have your life somewhere else. So hopefully the goal is to get to a point where you meet, but until you get to that point, it's a waiting game. It's a waiting game of when does that happen. But you have to be patient, because sometimes being impatient can drive somebody nuts. Crazy. And it can end up just rushing the relationship and destroying the relationship. So if you're not patient, just slide on back from long distance relationship.
Because people in a long distance relationship, because of their lack of patience, they end up losing out on something great and something wonderful.
Absolutely, have to be patient.
Number 4, don't do long distance relationship if you already think it's going to fail. Right? Why are we saying that? Because we are not oblivious to the challenge of long distance relationship. It is challenging. So we are very conscious of that fact. But you who is in a long distance relationship, it's okay to be conscious of it, but don't expect it. Like you just said, the goal of the long distance relationship is that it goes from being a long distance relationship to a in-person relationship. It grows, it progresses into something beautiful and better.
But if you don't see that, why are you wasting each other's time?
Don't do it. It's like, oh man, so I like you, but okay, we're gonna have to do long distance relationship. Let me see how long this lasts. You already have that mindset. You already have that mentality that this thing is not gonna end well because of the challenges that comes with a long distance relationship. That means you're not ready for it.
In a regular relationship, if you have that mentality, don't even do it.
Exactly.
But in a long distance relationship, it's almost unfair, because then you're still kind of stringing somebody along, or you're still kind of stringing each other along, knowing that it's not leading anywhere, and you could have separate lives and meet other people in your lives. So it's like...
And the dangerous thing about that mentality is it puts you in a position where you're not working, you're not putting in the necessary work to make the relationship work. Because you already think it's not gonna last, so why bother? Why
stop
work
trying?
harder? And you don't
even bother. Absolutely. Good job. That's a very good. I like that. I like that. And then segueing from the last point, the final point for today's discussion: don't go into long distance relationship if you have doubts about your significant other. It's one thing if you think the relationship is not going to work because you guys are far away from each other, it's so much work and stuff like that. It's another thing if you already feel like this person might not be the one for me. So what are you doing? So why are we even doing this? You understand what I'm saying? It piggybacks off the last point, but this one is even like, why are you wasting that person's time? Why are you wasting your time? If you feel like this person is not the one for you, end it and move on.
And some people may say, well, I don't want to end it because I kind of want to get to know him and stuff like that. But here's the thing. The moment you know enough to know that
it ain't the person, It's not it.
You have enough that you have doubts.
Yeah.
About this person. You know enough to make a decision.
Here's the thing. Absolutely. And here's the thing you have to understand. In a regular relationship where you're in the same space, you can end up making it work in a way of maybe getting to know the person more, you're hanging out more and that kind of stuff. Yeah. In a long distance relationship, you just drift apart.
Yeah.
It's just it will fizzle away. But here's the thing, people use that as a cop out. Rather than ending it and moving on, they hold that person there while they're moving on with their life here. Because they already feel like this person is not it, but maybe they just don't want to end it. Maybe that could be a second choice. Maybe it's something I could fall back on. In a long distance relationship, it's really hard to know what's really going on the other side. So it's like if you have doubts about your significant other, just don't bother. It's not going to work. It's worked for some people, but if you have the doubt, forget about it. You're not putting in the work.
Yeah, and the thing about doubt too is that something created the doubt, right? You know, maybe you guys were dating, and then maybe a month into the relationship, you're like, you started to have doubts, and you're like, I'm not sure if this can work. You know, in an in-person relationship, you can voice your concern, and you can say, you know, I'm not feeling so confident about this relationship anymore, and they can ask you why. And you will tell them the reason, and they will start fixing whatever the problem is, right? And you have a chance to see what the problem, the progress, the solution, how they're implementing and making changes, right? In a long distance relationship, they can tell you things, but you won't see them,
right?
Because we're in a long distance relationship, I'm able to show you what I want you to see.
Right.
I'm able to present myself to you in the light that I want you to see me in.
Exactly.
And so
it's what I present to you.
Right. So in a long distance relationship, if you have the slightest of doubt, address it. And if you still don't believe that it's being addressed, either you figure out a way to move closer so you can see those changes, or just stop.
Yeah.
Don't bother yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you have doubts now, it's not gonna change when they move closer.
Yeah.
And it doesn't change when they move closer. It won't change in marriage.
Exactly. That's listen. So it's a long distance relationship. You have to put in more work, more effort. You have to put in, just extra time and energy into building that relationship. Yeah. So if you're not ready for that, based on these things that we've talked about, don't put yourself in that situation, and don't put somebody else in that situation.
Yep. And that's all we have for today. Yes. I hope we shared a tip or two to help solidify your kingdom union today.
Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, and comment down below.
And until next time, be the light,
be the salt.
And remember,
all things are possible if you believe.